welcome to part 4 of our sock tutorial. So far this is what we have. Here's the heel and the sock part. So now we're going to continue on to the next part, which we're going to work on the heel section around here. So we need to start off by purling across 18 stitches, or in your case 19 stitches. So let's start. So purl 18 stitches or 19 stitches in your case. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. Okay, so now that we've done that, we are ready to go on to the next part. So the next part, the pattern says we have to work an extra 20 rows, just like previously, but we're going to do something a little bit different this time. Okay, now that we've done that, it says that we need to work 20 rows evenly, just like we did before. But actually, as it turns out, we've already worked our first row, which was this one, the purl row. When we worked our 18 stitches purl-wise, that was our very first row. So the second row, row number 2, we're going to start it now, but we're going to start it a little differently, because in the last section here, when we slipped the last stitch to form this bit here, we're not going to do that. We're going to do that right at the very beginning of the row, so that we can work our slip stitches on this side here. So you're going to slip the first stitch, just like we did before, as if you're going to purl it, slip it, and you're going to knit the rest of the stitches. There we are. I've come across to the end of this row, and the next row is you're going to purl across all your 18 stitches, or in your case your 19 stitches. So let's do this. Let's purl all our stitches. I can't do it, it's really just catching. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to finish this row. We are now on to our fourth row, row number 4, which is we're going to slip the first stitch and we're going to knit across all the stitches. Remember, this is row number 4. Okay, so that is done. So I think I will let you carry on until you have done all your 20 rows. And when you finished row 20, you should finish on that row so that you are ready to start with a purl row. So I'll let you carry on and I'll meet you at the end of this section. So here we are so far. I have finished this heel part here with the 20 rows. So now we're going to do is we're going to work on this section but on that side, and it is a little bit different to that section. So I will show you that now. So I will do just like the other part. I'm going to show you the first 10 rows and then I'll see what I can do. Okay, so first row is we're going to purl 2. So let's do this. I think the camera needs lowering maybe. No, it can't go any lower. So 1 second. Okay, so first row we're going to purl 2. So purl 2, 1 and 2. Then we're going to purl 2 together. Oh, and I think I have a message. It's you! So I'm going to finish this section and then I will have to respond. So purl 2 together. Yeah, this is not a good angle. Okay, purl 2 together and purl 1. Then you're going to turn your work around and do row number 2, which is you're going to slip 1 and knit 3. Slip 1 and knit 3. 1, 2, 3. Row number 3, we're going to purl 3. So purl 3. 1, 2 and 3. Then purl 2 together and purl 1. Row number 4 is you're going to slip 1 and knit 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Row number 5 we're going to purl 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, purl 2 together and purl 1. This is a rubbish video. I am so sorry. Row number 6. I'm just not used to recording this way. Row number 6 is we're going to slip 1 and knit 5. Slip 1, knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Row number 7, I believe it is. So let's do that. We're going to purl 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, purl 2 together, purl 2 together and purl 1. Row number 8. Oh, we're going to slip 1 and knit 6. Slip and knit 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Row number 9, we're going to purl 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, purl 2 together, and purl 1. Row number 10, we're going to slip 1 and knit 7 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I will let you carry on at this section until you have one more row to do, and this is how it looks so far. So I'll be back very shortly to tell you what to do next for the very last row. So when you will be on your last row, you will be on a purl row, so join me then. Okay, so this is where I am so far, and I've got the very last row to achieve, which will be on a purl side. And this is how it looks. So let's do the last row for this little section, and then we can move on to the next one. So I am going to have to purl 9 stitches, but I think you will have to purl 10. So let's do this. So I'm going to do my 9 stitches and you do your 10 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now we've got 2 stitches left, so we're just going to purl them together, and that concludes the last row. So this is now what we have. This little bit is done. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do something very similar to what we did before. We're going to pick up the 10 stitches, or in your case 12 stitches, along this side here to form the gusset. So you're going to look at these slip stitches, and you can find that I've got 10 and you should have 12. So we're going to pick up these 10 stitches, but purlwise. It's very easy to do. Very, very easy to do. It's just that I wish this was a little bit easier to record. So, okay, I'm going to pick up my 10 stitches now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the very last one, which is here, and 10. Okay, I have done my 10 stitches. So now what we need to do is all these stitches here, we're going to purl them all until the end of the row. Make sure you move the marker when you come across it. I'm not sure why we're not adding a stitch marker. Actually, you know what? I am going to follow my own gut, and I'm going to add a stitch marker right now. because you just never know. Here we had 2, so why not here? So add a stitch marker here, and now purl all the stitches and make sure you move the stitch marker as you come across it. So I'm going to finish this row. Oh, why is this camera always moving? Going to continue this row, and I'll join you at the end, and let's review the situation. Okay, so we are going to work a little bit more on these socks, and then I will do another part. So I wish this camera, it's really not easy to work where I am. Okay, so right. What we're going to do now in this section is we're going to do a few decrease rows where we're going to decrease here, and I'm going to decrease my stitches until I have my original, I think it was 72 stitches. Yeah, 72 stitches. At the moment I believe I have 76. So we need to do some decreases. And how we're going to do this, I'll show you right now. The decreases are achieved on the right side row. So what we're going to do now is we're going to knit our stitches, but we're going to stop 2 stitches before the stitch marker. So you're going to knit all your stitches until you have 2 stitches before the stitch marker. So let's do this. Let's knit our stitches, if I can get to them. Okay, let's do it. So remember to leave 2 stitches before the stitch marker. I need to do 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I have my 2 stitches before the marker, so we are going to knit these 2 together. Knit the 2 stitches together. And now you're going to move the stitch marker, and you're going to carry on knitting all these stitches here until you get to the next stitch marker. So I'm going to do that, and I'll tell you what you need to do after that. I am almost at the stitch marker. I have just a few more stitches to do. There we are. I am now at the stitch marker. Slip the stitch marker, and now we're going to do a decrease. And how we're going to do that is we're going to slip 1, knit 1, and pass the slip stitch over, just like so. And then you're going to knit until the end of the row. Okay, next row we're going to purl all the stitches. So I'll join you at the end of the next row. So I finished my purl row, and I'm going to do another row of decrease with you, and after that I'll tell you what to do. So we are going to knit all the stitches here until we have 2 stitches left before the stitch marker. Remember, before the stitch marker, knit all these stitches and leave 2 stitches before the stitch marker. So let's do this. Knit all the stitches. Okay, we have 2 stitches before the marker, so we're going to knit these 2 together. Knit 2 together. Slip the marker, and now you're going to knit all the stitches until you get to the marker. So I'll pause and I'll be right back. I have reached my marker, so I will slip it. And we're going to do another decrease, but this time we're going to slip one as if to purl. See, we're slipping it. Knit one and pass the slip stitch over, and then you're going to finish this row by knitting all the stitches. And the next row you're going to purl all your stitches. So I'm going to let you purl your row, and I'll join you at the end of the row to tell you what to do next. Okay, so this is what our sock looks, how our socks looks like. Okay, so these are the heel parts. This is the gusset here, and this is the body of the sock, which goes on your ankle and your calf. So now the pattern says I have stopped doing the increases, and I know I should do more if I want to make this sock fit my foot, but I'm going to leave it as that because I want you to understand how this sock works. So in a pattern it says you need to decrease until you have your original number of stitches from the beginning. So I had 72 stitches, so I continued my decreases until I got my 72 stitches back on the needle. So I hope you have done that. Once you have done that, you need to look at this, and perhaps this is where you need to think about the foot, the width of the foot. So this sock will be way too big for me, but let's say that's the width of the foot, and do you need to do more decreases or not? For now, I think you should go with your original number, just so you can understand how to work a sock, if that makes sense. Then you can experiment doing other pairs of socks with that pattern if you wish, but for now, just to learn the technique, I would go ahead and work until you have your original number, which I believe was 76 stitches. Yes? When you have done that, you are ready to work on your next part. So if you look at the sock and if you think about it, this is going to be the heel of the foot. So now you need to concentrate, think about this. This is the heel of the foot, and now you need to work on the length of the sock that will fit your actual foot. So the pattern suggests to work a further 8 inches for the smallest size, or for the biggest size to do another further 9 inches. But that just depends on the length of the foot. So basically you need to measure the foot, and let's say if the foot is 11 inches from the heel, you need to stop 2 inches let's see. So it's really hard to explain, I'm so sorry. The pattern suggests you do 9 inches, which will leave 2 more inches for the toes. I hope that makes sense. If you look at the sock, look at the toe area, and that should be 2 inches. So, and then plus 9 inches, that will make the foot length as 11 inches. Okay, I hope that does make sense. So you need to work another 9 inches or however many inches you need in stocking stitch. When you have done that, we'll be ready to work on the toe section, and that will be in the next part. So I will let you do this section. I will tell you how many rows I have done, and then we'll carry on with the next part. So join me for the next part.